The Not So Great Outdoors contains stories of a graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
The outdoors are great. Except when they're not.
Welcome to the Not So Great Outdoors. We're your guides. I'm Sav.
And I'm Piff, and this week we are talking about Gertrude Lythgoe.
What?
Her name is Gertrude.
Okay. Lythgoe?
Lyth.
Life.
Lythgoe.
I thought you said life, like
No.
Life. So I heard Gertrude space, life space go, is what I heard. And I was like,
I
what?
mean, when it came to life, she really did just go.
Yes. I guess. I don't know. Yes, sure.
We'll go with that.
Go with it.
So Sav has recently given me a bit of a hard time for doing only really dark cases.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And while she's right.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not wrong.
I cover true stories.
You do.
That's what we're here for.
And true crime. I mean, crime is in the name. It's not always going to be, roses and butterflies and rainbows.
But I thought, since I had done some very upsetting cases lately.
Extremely dark and upsetting cases lately. Like 3 in a row.
2.
Okay, 2.
I thought I would give you the true story of a woman who committed many, many crimes. Or rather, one particular crime many times.
Okay. I'm interested because you haven't used the word murder yet. So I'm imagining she didn't kill a bunch of people.
Nope. And so...
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it serial arson?
Nope.
Oh, dang. Theft.
Nope. I'll give you
Breaking
a hint.
and entering. Okay, you're drinking your sangria.
Yep.
Okay, it's public intoxication.
You're closer.
Really? That would be so funny.
I mean,
it's
closer.
not funny, but that'd be hilarious. Like, today we're going to talk about somebody who was publicly intoxicated so many times that it became a felony. Like, that they became a felon.
That would be hilarious, but
That would
no.
be funny.
So before I, get into this, happy spooky season, because
Yay!
This comes out on the last day of September,
Woo!
which means if you are going to give me shit about being spooky in September, you no longer can.
Yeah.
Because it's basically October. I have
is.
my basic witch t-shirt on.
I have not a spooky shirt on because I'm not prepared today, but it's fine. I am drinking sangria, however. Also,
because it's thematic.
Yes. Also, I wanted to tell you. So today, while I was working, I got a message from a coworker. I was debating on whether or not to use their name. Probably not. But a message from a coworker in a different department. So not somebody I work with on a daily basis. She messaged me and she was like, not to be unprofessional, and I went, okay. Not to be unprofessional, but
going?
I'm listening to your podcast.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? And she was like, I love true crime and blah, blah, blah. And she just kept saying how much she liked true crime and everything. And I was like, oh, thanks. I'm so glad. I hope you're liking it. And she was like, oh, I'm loving it. It's so good. I was like, yay. So thank you.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
During my one-on-one with my boss today, she was like, how are you feeling today? And I'm like, tired.
Yeah.
She's like, why? And I'm like, I was up really late finishing my notes last night. And she was like, what is your podcast? She pulls out her phone. She's like, is it on Spotify? Follows it. And she's like, okay. She's like, which episode is, because remember my one coworker, we had one of his stories on our thing.
Right. Yeah.
She's like, which episode is that? And I told her, and I was like, also, if you want to get a really good feel, listen to episode 16 because it's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're here, hi also. Hello, coworkers.
Yes. Also, why am I mildly panicked that people we work with are now finding our podcast?
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So prior to me actually diving into this, there is a book, an autobiography written by Gertrude titled The Bahama Queen, the autobiography of Gertrude Lythgoe. And I searched on both legitimate and less than legitimate sites trying to get my hands on a digital copy or even to order a physical copy. Could not find it. You can't order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and it's not available as an ebook at all. I checked libraries, and the closest one that has a copy of this book is in Auburn, Alabama.
Jeez.
So if you, dear listener, work at a used bookstore and you happen to come across this book, please get it.
Yes.
Please.
We no longer have a P.O. box, but we will work with you to get it sent to one of us.
Email us if you find it, because I looked everywhere.
Yes.
So now we're going to dive into Gertrude's story.
I keep thinking you're going to say Gertrude Stein, who was a famous publisher and editor of books back in the 20s. Anyway.
A different Gertrude.
A different Gertrude.
Also known as Grace.
Grace.
She was born in Bowling Green, Ohio.
I thought you were going to say Bowling Green, Kentucky. I was like,
Nope.
what?
Ohio, O-H.
No.
Ohio.
No.
Yeah.
No.
For those of you who don't know, I'm from Ohio, so.
Yeah. And I'm not.
She does not accept my Ohioan side, only the Kentucky side.
You fit in Kentucky so much better than you fit in Ohio.
I think some people would beg to disagree, but we'll just let that be.
So would you think it would be your friends who are still in Ohio would beg to disagree?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, fair, but also I'm still right. And they should also come to Kentucky. Anyway.
So she was born in Bowling Green, Ohio, to what we would imagine were loving parents in 1888.
Okay.
She was the 10th child in the family. And she soon found herself orphaned.
Aww.
As her mother died. And because 10 kids is a lot of kids, her dad couldn't take care of everybody. And so she ended up in foster system for a little bit. And then one article said she was saved by her aunt. So I don't know how, but eventually her aunt got custody of her.
Wait, there was a foster system in the 1800s?
I'm imagining it's not like our foster system.
Okay,
it was like
wait.
Her dad took her to a church and was like, here, deal
with this kid. Okay. She got passed around.
As we know from Hamilton and Hamilton alone, Eliza Hamilton established the first national orphanage in, Alexander's memory. Mm-hmm. So that was in the 1800s.
And Peggy. The Schuyler sisters. Alexander. I have to leave. Alexander. Look around. I want to smack him in that scene every time. I'm like, shut up, you fool. But y'all didn't know you were going to have a full Hamilton rendition in this episode.
Welcome to our Hamilton podcast.
Woohoo! I would listen to that. Anywho.
So she's noted as being a good student with a quick mind, and I want to use the word tenacious because that just is the vibe I get from her.
Okay.
As she grew, her features, like her facial features, became more prominent, and people would compare her to Queen Cleopatra, earning her the nickname Cleo. Because she just was this like dashing beauty, and a lot of articles implied that, you couldn't really tell where she was from because she just had like one of those faces. She could have been any ethnicity. At least that's what they say. I only have a black and white photo of her, so I will not be making that assertion, but that's what articles say. Gertrude then moved to New York City, center of the universe. Name that musical.
Nope.
Rent.
Thank you. I haven't seen Rent in forever.
I have never finished Rent.
Really?
I make it about halfway through, and then I go, why is this so long? And I turn it off.
The ending's pretty okay.
I don't know
how
it
From what I can remember.
I've never finished it. I make it to about where intermission is every time, and then I'm like, I can't, and I turn it off.
Maybe you should start at intermission next time.
I don't know what happens in the second half. Yeah. And she became a stenographer, and we do have a fabulous photo of her. Please go and look.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Sakes.
She's fabulous.
Have you ever seen pictures of F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife? She reminds me of images I've seen of Zelda.
All right.
Fabulous. Oh, I love this. She's drinking, which I imagine has something to do with the story.
It does.
It does. Like, we're drinking out of metal cups. Oh no!
I just spilled wine all over myself.
Party foul.
I'm a grown-up. Okay, so we're now going to take a turn, but I promise it will make sense. Also, this is a short case, and I needed to do what I could to beef it up.
Listen, you can always trust me to beef up our episodes with my useless banter. Continue.
So from the Ken Burns documentary, Prohibition, quote, by 1830, the average American over 15 years old consumed nearly 7 gallons of pure alcohol a year, 3 times as much as we drink today.
Jeez.
And alcohol abuse, primarily by men, was wreaking havoc on the lives of many, particularly in an age when women had few legal rights and were utterly dependent on their husbands for sustenance and support.
I mean, End quote. I think I would become an alcoholic if that were my life too.
Well, the men were the alcoholics.
Oh, I don't know. I can't be taken care of completely. I just can't. I'm incapable of letting people take care of me
completely. That's that modern woman for you.
Yeah. Also, your dog is cracking me up.
Oh, yeah?
Just heard her under the door. She's so dramatic.
So enter the temperance movement conflating alcohol with sin and destruction. And then on January 16th, 1919, the United States ratified the 18th Amendment to the Constitution. This amendment only took 11 months to be ratified, even though Congress had given it 7 years. To say that there was widespread support for it was an understatement. It went into effect officially in January of 1920, so the following year, because all of the 20s start with something bad.
Yeah.
Now, for our non-history scholars, the 18th Amendment, quote, banned the manufacture, transportation, and sale of intoxicating liquors, end quote.
So, all alcohol.
Yes. But it did not ban the consumption.
No.
Just the manufacture, transportation, and sale.
I guess they were thinking eventually they're going to drink it all. And then it'll all be gone because they can't make it. Because stilling is not a thing.
But did that work? No. And as we all know from nothing other than popular media depictions of the 20s, this did not work well.
No.
The rich were partying like Gatsby, the poor were making alcohol in their bathtubs, and everybody was living large and still drunk. But where did the liquor come from if there wasn't a legal way to get it?
Stilling. Oh, did she still? Did she make alcohol?
She was a bootlegger.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Enter bootleggers, speakeasies, and rum runners. Not to mention bathtub gin and a Kentucky favorite, moonshine.
Yes.
And as I always say, if it's not illegal, it's not moonshine.
Yeah.
Also, story time. So when I was in college, I was originally a marine biology major, and I had to take chemistry classes because that's part of science. And this might have been in reference to making crack, but I'm pretty sure we were distilling ethanol this day. And my professor said, if people in the backwoods of West Virginia can do this, we can too.
Yeah. Because
distilling ethanol is not too difficult if you know what you're doing.
Fun fact and story, I guess. So my dad grew up in rural Kentucky in the backwoods. And his neighbor, so when he was growing up, at this point he was probably about like 10, I would imagine. And his neighbor, he lived they could see his house, but like not very well. Their farms like butted up next to each other. So the dude, I can't remember his name, but he was a felon, so he had been arrested for like several things, particularly like moonshining and like but also like firearms and like things like that. So he wasn't allowed to own firearms. And obviously you can't be caught with like tons of liquor that you've distilled yourself and all that jazz. Because he was selling it. Like if you make it for yourself, like that's fine. But like if you sell it, like you can't.
It's like there's a reasonable quantities thing here.
That you can have, yeah. And he had a unreasonable amount of moonshine. But he was just one of those guys that like everybody knew who he was in our tiny town. And he had quite a few buddies that he would sell to, you know, and stuff. So they had a beat, like a line, I guess, or like an in with the local police department, and they would know ahead of time if they were going to go raid him. So somebody would go and call him and let him know, and he would get in his truck and drive over to my papa's farm and tell him, hey, there's a raid, I need y'all's help. And they would go and help him. They would load up into his truck, they would load up all of the, like all his guns and like his
all the stuff he was not supposed to have.
Yeah, and they would drive it into, because the search warrant was only for the house. And so they would drive it and park it in his barn, and they would shut it up and lock it. And then my papa and my dad would ride their horses back to their farm, and they would sit on the ridge and watch. And they would watch all the cop cars come up in a line, and like they'd watch him come out, and he would just sit on his front porch swing and just let them. And he'd just sit there and be like, thanks for coming, boys. And when they'd leave, and so they'd pack up and they'd leave. And as soon as the last one went, they'd get on their horses, they'd go back down, they'd help him unload it all. And he would, I don't remember how he paid my papa, but he always slipped my dad like a 20.
Yeah.
Like my dad was just riding on his horse at like 10 years old across the ridge to go and help this dude. But yeah, so fun fact. My dad, not really the rum runner, but you know.
Smuggling
alcohol.
At this point, we're going to turn our attention back to Gertrude, Grace, Cleo, you know, all of her names. Shortly before prohibition took effect, she found herself under the employment of the British Scotch whiskey wholesaler, Haig and MacTavish. Don't yell at me.
MacTavish.
It's spelled Mac,
if
so.
It's Scotch. Oh, well, then.
When Prohibition passed, they realized they had an asset in their employee. Gertrude moved to Nassau, which is an island in the Bahamas, which were at the time still a British colony, where she set up the home base for the company. It was here that she took over yet another nickname, because the 3 names she had were not enough. And she became known as the Queen of the Bahamas, or the Bahama Queen. She stayed in the Lucerne Hotel, which apparently was infamous for being full of crime and violence. In Gertrude's own words, quoted in therumration.com, quote, "All types and nationalities conversed on the front veranda waiting for the ringing of the dinner bell. Many newspaper reporters and feature writers sat by the hour at the bar, gathering rich material to be woven into fiction," end quote. So there were just tons of different types of people. It was full, and it wasn't the most savory of places. You catch my drift?
But nothing the Bahama Queen.
Nothing the Bahama Queen can't handle. So once she had set up shop, Gertrude began smuggling. Initially, she was only a middleman, so liquor would come in from her employer. She would find buyers and smugglers who would then get the products to customers in the States. A woman in a very male-dominated field, she was, a glass ceiling breaker.
Yes.
She had to make sure she was taken seriously and that she wouldn't be messed with. So she handled the first issue by having the best liquor and being super business savvy on top of that. So she had the best liquor, the best prices, was super good with communication. Her stuff always got to you. And she handled the second with her pistol. A story that came up in article after article goes that a man in Nassau was talking shit about her liquor. Some people said that he said that it was watered down. Some people said that it was stolen. So it was he was just talking shit about her liquor, right?
Can't have that.
And so she was like, well, we can't have that. Everybody knows I'm the best.
I'm the Bahama Queen.
I didn't get that name for nothing. So she found him in a barber shop, getting his beard trimmed. His face is all lathered up. And she threatened him with her pistol.
I love it.
She put a gun in his face and said that she would put a bullet through his head if he didn't leave. And like a reasonable man, he fled the island.
Good.
She
Don't
also
cross the Bahama Queen.
Don't cross her. She also didn't let the fun activity of smuggling to the boys. Gertrude was a solo runner, never marrying, but she did work with Bill McCoy, who was another smuggler. And so sometimes she would hop on his ship and they would go and smuggle stuff into the States together.
But that's the closest to marriage she ever got.
Yeah, and I mean, she wasn't romantically interested in him. She was purely interested in the fact that he had a ship.
Yeah, he has a boat.
I mean,
he is an asset to me.
Yes. He would later speak to a journalist saying the following, quote, "She was a tall, slender girl with black hair, a brain as steady as her own dark eyes, and a history that was nobody's business. She came to Nassau as an agent for Hagging McTavish Scotch whiskey. No one knew from where. She made no secret of her background, but she told an entirely different tale to everyone who asked. She was born in California. She was born in India. She was a gypsy. She had been raised in the Middle West. You could take your choice. Members of the rum mob who drew their own conclusions concerning her and then tried to operate accordingly probably will recall the breathtaking fury she could show, and one or two must remember the pistol jammed into their ribs by way of making things clear." End quote.
Listen, I know she was involved in many an illegal activity, but I think I love her.
I love her. She is the kind of strong woman that we need to look up to.
She's a spitfire, for sure.
Yeah, she didn't take no shit.
Mm-mm.
She was also a woman in such a man's world. Smuggling and doing all this stuff, living in the Bahamas, this life of treachery or whatever you want to call it, and doing it better.
Yes.
Than the men.
And that's why so many of them were talking shit, because she was better than them.
Yep, can't handle it. So after 4 successful years of smuggling, and that is our only crime here, just so that we're all clear. This is not going to take some dark turn.
She did not hurt anybody, actually. She just threatened.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
She might have hurt somebody.
I mean, if you threaten someone and they don't back off, you gotta follow through. But there's no indication that she killed anybody ever.
There's no known.
But so after 4 successful years of smuggling, she was arrested on the island for, you guessed it, smuggling alcohol.
Running.
Specifically, smuggling 1,000 barrels of whiskey and rum into New Orleans. But in an ironic twist, she didn't even do this specific job. You know why? Because if she had done it, she wouldn't have gotten caught.
She wouldn't have, yeah.
She was literally somewhere else when this happened. And who was supposed to be in charge of this delivery?
Bill What's-His-Face.
Not Bill What's-His-Face, but a man.
A dude.
Who attempted to double-cross her and sell the booze to his own buyer for his own profits instead of the buyer she had set up that he was supposed to go to. And then he got caught by the Coast Guard.
Ah.
Sucks to suck, dude.
So she was still in trouble, but he was also in trouble. So at least there's that.
No, he, tried to blame the whole thing on her. I didn't do this at all. It was all her. But then it came out that she was literally somewhere else. I think she was actually with Bill.
Oh, yeah.
When this whole thing happened, this happened in New Orleans and she was in New Jersey. She was I was in New Jersey.
I was in a different state.
I wasn't even anywhere near that. I would never.
Me? A little woman? A little lady?
I could never. This is what happens when you underestimate women. So after all of it comes out, they released her and she went back to the island, free as a bird. But shortly after this incident, so that was 1924, the U.S. was able to extend their aquatic jurisdiction. So basically, before they were able to do this, they could only capture boats within a mile of the coastline, and it extended to 5 miles or something like that. It increased how far out they were allowed to basically pull your ship over and search you. So the time of easy smuggling was coming to an unfortunate end. And also in 1925, she became super paranoid. She was convinced that she was jinxed and was going to be murdered.
Oh, jeez.
So, I also think that when you live a life like her life, you get paranoid.
Yeah.
You're always looking around the corner just because you don't want to get caught. So her paranoia, in conjunction with the new jurisdiction changes, took the Bahama Queen out of the game.
She was listen, I've made it this far. I'm done.
I'm going to retire in peace.
In the Bahamas.
That's the key. You got to know when to get out of the game. It's when you're at a casino.
Know when to hold on. Know when to fold on.
Welcome to our musical episode.
Yeah. Listen, this is my normal life. I've just never done this on the episode, on the podcast, but...
You're a little slap happy.
Yeah, I'm very tired.
It's been a time, and it's pretty late.
It's been a month, y'all. I can't even say it's been a day or it's been a week. It has been a month.
Honestly, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. If you want to go that far, yeah.
I am not recovered from March of 2020, and it's almost 2022.
I don't know. I feel like you've recovered a little bit. You're doing pretty good. You're doing a lot better than you were. Can we revisit where you were in March 2020? Because, woo.
It helps that, my wedding has already happened, because,
I was if I have to walk you down the aisle myself, you're getting married if it kills me.
Yeah. To all of my other pandemic brides out there, we did it. Your wedding was perfect, regardless of how it happened. Sorry. I get it. It wasn't ideal for any of us, but I get it. But
I have nothing I can add to this except respect and love and good vibes.
Good vibes. So, Gertie.
That's my favorite name so far.
Nobody have ever called her that. I just couldn't remember her name for a second. Gertrude, Cleo, Grace, Bahama Queen. Retired. She quit bootlegging and moved to New York, of all places.
New York.
Yeah, she moved to several other places after that, but initially New York, and she lived in hotels in the States, just as she had lived in hotels in Nassau. I think she just got used to that hotel life. You're not responsible.
Having somebody bringing you towels and making your bed.
And if you can afford that, you do that.
Listen, I might sell my house and move back into an apartment. I am so over this homeownership stuff, y'all. Over it.
Just a lot of work.
It's just, it never ends. I'm not talking about the housework, the cleaning and that's fine. But like if one more thing in my house breaks, oh, also my garbage disposal's messed up. Like if one more thing in my house breaks, it's going on the market like that day. We've not even been in it a year yet, and it is going on the market the day something else breaks. I'm over it. Moving back into an apartment.
But just think of how all the bad parts about living in an apartment.
My
like upstairs
apartment
neighbors who drops bowling balls.
That was the other apartment, and that was terrible.
Okay, there was like a child or something that would like throw themselves on the floor above you.
True. That is true. But it never happened in the middle of the night. It always just happened during the day when I was trying to work from home, so that was annoying. But like now I'm going back into the office, so I'll never know.
Oh my gosh, this is not related. I saw this TikTok today. And it was, this is how I freak out my neighbors in my apartment complex. And this woman is standing in a stairwell and she starts singing just very slowly, perfect pitch. Ring around.
No.
See,
no. I would move 100%.
If you live in an apartment complex, you have to deal with other people.
I have to deal with other people, and I live in a neighborhood.
So to finish off our story about Gertrude, in my opinion, rude journalist, wrote the following in the Fairmount News in 1926, quoted by allocation.com because I couldn't find any original sources, so it's like quoted in a quote, you know. Quote, a jinx has tracked her down from her whiskey throne in Nassau through the most luxurious hotels of European capitals, through glamorous newspaper publicity, through her hectic romances, to the loneliness of a New York hotel suite where she can hide from the world and recover her lost nerve and her health. End quote.
Rude.
The first half of that is like, oh, look at this wonderful life she lived. And now, like, because she's choosing to be alone, like, she's lonely nerve. And she's like, no.
She's probably tired of all the men's shit. So she decided, you know what, I'll just be alone.
She, like, had enough of your bullshit.
Yeah.
And retired.
Yeah. You know what? I bet he was, like, a rejected suitor.
Yeah. Or he was just like, how is a woman so wealthy?
Because she worked her ass off.
Yep. Yeah, she did.
She built her own empire. Shut up.
Yeah, she did. She is the queen. Show some respect.
Yes.
So at the ripe age of 86, she died in Los Angeles.
She made it all the way across from the East to West Coast.
Yeah, she went everywhere. She lived a life.
I wonder how many suitcases she took with her.
Probably not. I feel like she traveled light.
Probably.
I feel like you have to.
Yeah.
In this
Maybe
business,
like a suitcase and like a carry-on type of deal.
Yeah.
Like a large bag.
You know, one of those like carpet bags.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what I had in my head.
Yes. But that is the story of rum runner, bootlegger, badass businesswoman, and also criminal, Gertrude Lythgoe.
I love it. That was good. That was a good change up.
I thought you would enjoy it. Did not have murder in it.
Yes, I appreciate that it didn't make me go, what? Like, out of, like, anger or frustration.
Yeah. And also, like, I could not find any more information at all.
That's fine.
There was no more information to be found, except for the book, which I could not find.
Which is very annoying.
Yes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of change of pace. Happy spooky season. I hope you're ready for what October has in store, guys, because it's about to be lit. Oh, we should look at the poll.
All right.
So on our last episode, we had said we were going to put up a poll to see what scary movie we will be watching for Scary Movie Saturday this year. Are you ready?
I'm not ready, but, you know, I'm never ready for this. I thought about voting, but then I was like, you know what? Honestly, I don't want to watch any of these. So actually, no. I wanted to watch A Quiet Place 2, but then I didn't want to skew the results. You know, like I was like, I want to do what the people want.
Well,
How many votes did we get?
14.
Okay.
As of right now, the poll has not been up for a full 24 hours as of recording.
So it is still potentially going to
change. There is a
but
clear winner as of right now.
Never mind. I bet you it's like the worst one out of all of them.
Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, wait, no, okay. Never mind. That was not the one I was dreading the most.
So,
cool. Okay.
For Scary Movie Saturday, we will be watching Cabin in the Woods, and that video will be up on our YouTube channel at some point in October. We'll announce on the pod when it goes up.
I'm sure I'll be clutching a pillow like I was last time. I don't know, though. As above, so below, it was very freaky.
Yes.
That was weird. And you know, I'm kind of excited because you said Cabin in the Woods was one of your favorites.
It is one of my favorites.
And you said it's more of like a thriller, right?
It's got some like accidental summoning of demons and that then kill everybody, you know.
I'm less excited. It's fine. It's fine.
I enjoy it.
Should I watch the trailer?
No.
Like before? Okay, no. Not even for us to record it for like content?
I don't think so.
Oh, great.
I just think
I'm less
it's
excited
better
now.
if you experience it in the moment.
I really don't want to experience it in the moment. Why do people hate me? Why do all of you hate me?
You agreed to this and you chose the movies on the list.
Well, I chose them based on what we were already talking about. I didn't even really like think about it. I was just like, okay, we already talked about these two.
So what you're saying is you regret your decisions.
I do.
Do you want to know? We'll look at later. Maybe like the second one won't be. No, all the others, it's like 2-2-2-8.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's the clear winner. We're not going to get enough people to skew it another way, I don't think.
That's all right. I think you'll enjoy it.
Will I? Or will you enjoy watching me squirm?
I don't know.
Both. No, it's just she's going to enjoy watching me get freaked out. You had so much fun watching me get so scared by As Above, So Below. Okay, am I going to be as torn up with The Cabin in the Woods as I was? Like on edge like I was for As Above, So Below?
I don't think so. I think Cabin in the Woods is a bit more predictable.
Okay, that's fine. I can handle that. I'm like vaguely excited.
Scary Movie Saturday. So make sure you tune in all of October for all of our spooky adventures.
Woo! That'll be good. I'm a little freaked out, but it'll be good. Listen, also, don't even think about putting a poll up that's like, should we go to a haunted house? No, I'm not going.
Well, I wasn't going to.
Okay, good. You better
not. It hadn't
not.
come into my head to do that.
I will take it down. You are not the only one with access to our Instagram.
Change the password.
I will punch you in the face.
I would never.
And just flat out.
I mean, I would, but I wouldn't because you're so against it.
I'm not going. Like, I'll sit in the parking lot.
Listen, we already discussed the hula hoop salt circle to keep you safe.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Well, that's if we go to Waverly, and that's a huge if.
So are you talking about like a jump scare haunted house?
Yeah, I'm talking about like an actual haunted house. Not like a fake haunted house, not like a legitimately,
not like an actual
legitimately haunted house. I'm talking like, you know, like haunted hayride, like haunted corn maze type of haunted house.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll talk about it all day, but I'm not doing it.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. All right, well, we hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give us a comment or a, review on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a review on Apple Podcasts, take a screenshot and email it to us, the notsogreatoutdoors@gmail.com.
Nope.
notsogreatoutdoors@gmail.com. And include your mailing address with a screenshot of that review, and we will send you a sticker to say thank you. Also, if you have any personal experiences that you would like to share, whether they be spooky or rescue or whatever, anything that fits in what we do on this podcast, send it to notsogreatoutdoors@gmail.com, and we will also send you a sticker if you include your mailing address. We cannot do another listener story currently unless we receive some more personal stories. So let us know what's happened to you or a friend of yours or a relative or your great uncle or whoever, anybody, random person you just met, anything. That would be great.
Your coworker?
Your coworkers. I still need to pump my coworkers for some stories because I'm supposed to have one or two.
Talking to you, current coworkers.
Current coworkers. Follow us on all of the social networking sites. Not social networking, I guess. Social media. We are at NSGeoPod on all of those, including TikTok. If you have an idea for us to do a TikTok, let us know.
We have to record that TikTok after this. We have
to record it.
I forgot.
I hadn't forgotten.
I did.
Please leave us a review. It helps us tremendously. So if you like us and you want us to keep going, leave us a review. If you don't leave us a review, we'll just assume that you don't like us and we should just stop. You remember that time that we quit for a couple of months? Do you want that to happen again? I will have threatened them. Do you want that to happen again? Leave us a review. A positive review, please.
We haven't gotten a negative one yet. The second we get a negative one is the second that I stop checking the reviews every day.
Yeah.
Because I will cry.
I will too. Please don't break our hearts like that.
Like constructive negativity, like their sound wasn't great in the beginning, but they've worked on it and improved. That's okay, because one of our reviews says that.
Yeah.
That's okay. But if you're like, I hate them and their voices are annoying, just like turn it off. No one's making you listen to this.
Making you listen to us. Yeah, don't. But the rest of you, we love you, so thank you for listening. Okay, well, I think that's about it, right? That's just like you. I feel like I always feel like I'm missing something.
Because it's Patreon and we don't do Patreon anymore.
And I don't care if you want Patreon back, we're not doing it.
No, but you can buy us a glass of wine at the link in our bio on Instagram. Or Twitter or
link
TikTok.
In bio.
Link in bio. Because my glass is empty, y'all.
Yeah, mine is almost empty. No, but in all seriousness, though, thank you guys for all of the love and support. We have hit, as of recording this, we've hit 8,000.
Probably by the time this drops, we'll be at 9 or 10, based on our growth.
I can't even.
Yeah, and we went from 7 to 8 in a week and a half.
But thank you guys. I don't know. Whenever I say when you came up with this idea. And I agreed. I don't know. I never thought.
I figured like our families and friends would listen until they got annoyed and bored with us.
But we maybe hit like a couple hundred.
We got an email from some stranger in Texas the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen,
it's a listener story.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Listen, I don't look at any of the comments or any of the emails. Because emails because I'm worried I'm going to ruin something. And then, like, for myself, like, an episode. And then the comments because I have a fragile heart. And if it's a bad thing, I'm going to cry. People tell me how we're doing. Yeah. But yes, so thank you guys. We love you. We'll see you next time. And in the meantime,
stay safe out there.
Thanks for watching. Music by Purple Planet. Art by Ruby Congrove. Logo by Catherine Dodds. For more information and our sources, head over to notsogreatoutdoors.com. For updates and announcements, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at NSGOpod. Don't forget to subscribe on all of your favorite podcasting platforms.